Hola, mi gente. So if you're finding it hard to meet the spend requirements to get all the sign-up bonuses that are out there right now, in this video, I'm going to tell you how I got $23,000 worth to spend in 3 months. It wasn't easy, but I'm going to go over that and give you some ideas on how maybe you can make that spend requirement to get all the points that are out there right now. If that sounds interesting to you, if you find any value in that or any information on credit cards, finance tips, and so on, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help the channel. Trying to get to at least 3,000 subs by the end of the month. So I really appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's jump into it. So a couple of weeks ago, I posted a video about how my wallet was a little messed up because I went out and applied for 3 cards with a lot of spend requirements to them. I didn't think that one through, and I said it then, and even though I made it, it wasn't easy, but I was able to be really creative in how I was able to make the spend requirements on each individual card. And maybe this will give you some ideas when you're applying for these cards now. There's a lot of offers out there for high amounts, how to make that spend requirement without going in over your head, without spending needlessly on other stuff just to get points. Remember, the idea is never to just spend for the sake of spending to get points, but using what you normally spend in order to get those points, okay? So let's jump into that. First things first, the first card I applied to was back in July, and that was for the American Express Business Gold Card. I was able to get an offer of 100,000 points, which wasn't the highest, but what I was able to get in return was, instead of doing it in 3 months, I got it in 6 months, where I had to spend $10,000 in 6 months. A lot easier to do it in 6 than it is to do it in 3. So I took that $100,000 points total and I applied for the card, and I got the card towards the end of July, beginning of August. The second card was the Chase Sapphire, the Chase Ink Preferred. The Chase Ink Preferred recently this year dropped their spend requirement from 15,000 in 3 months to 8,000 in 3 months, which was a heck of a lot more doable. So I applied for this card at the end of August. I got the card in September, and the spend requirement was $8,000 in 3 months for 100,000 ultimate reward points. No less than a week later, I said, let me take a shot, apply for another Chase business card. So I applied this time for the Chase United Mileage Plus business card so that I can match it up with my personal United card, because then they give you an anniversary bonus of 5,000 points because you have both cards. This spend requirement was $5,000 for 50,000 miles for United, okay? But I had to do that in 3 months as well. All told, it was $23,000 worth of spend to get 275,000 points or miles, however you want to look at it. Now, how did I do it? Before I go how I did it, I'm going to tell you what a little bit of a change that Chase had done. When I applied for the United card, the offer was 50,000 miles. However, by the time I got the card, a few days later, I noticed online they were offering 75,000 miles for the same spend requirement. I called Chase. I told them to go review my account. They saw I had a lot of cards with them. They saw that, the balances where they were, and they actually met me at the 75,000. They said, okay, we'll give you the 50 upon the spend requirement, and once you complete the spend, call us back and we'll add 25,000 more miles to it. I just got the verification today, and that's why I waited today to do it. At the end of November, it's like the 25th, I believe it is, as I record this. And so they're giving me, instead of 50,000 miles, 75,000 miles, which is great for the same spend requirement. So with American Express Gold Business Card, what I did was I had some work to do in my house in Florida. I had to install a brand new central AC system. It was almost $8,000. I had already put some spend on the American Express Business Gold Card. So what I did was I had to put a down payment first, 40% up front, and then the rest was going to be once upon installation, which was November 1st. So I put that spend on the Amex Business Gold, while simultaneously then I put the rest of the AC onto the Chase Inc. preferred card. So I kind of split that cost amongst two cards. Then to finish off the American Express Gold Business card, I put my homeowner's taxes here from New Jersey onto that card, which is about $2,500. So I met that spend. They gave me 6 months. I met it in 3. And I made the $10,000 spend requirement on that card. I got the 100,000 points already into my account. Now moving over to the Sapphire, to the Ink, I just keep saying Sapphire, I'm sorry, the Chase Ink Preferred. I was able to, in addition to adding the air conditioning, then I had to pay my Florida taxes, which for the full year, not just for the quarter, but for the full year is about $3,400. I added that to the remainder of the AC unit, and believe it or not, in those two things, the $8,000 is right there. So I was able to get the 100,000 UR points from Chase for that one. That I did in a little less than 2 months, which was pretty shocking. Then I had to tackle the Chase United Mileage Plus business card. That was to do 5,000 in 3 months as well. I had until December 15th, but I wanted to get it out of the way. So what I did was with that one, I took my sister's taxes, which was due more or less at the same time as mine. Hers are a lot more. I paid her taxes with my card, where then she paid me to pay off the bill. And then I threw on some gifts and things like that because it's the holidays. And I finished off that United card literally in 3.5 weeks for the $5,000 spend. So all told, $23,000 for 275,000 points or miles, however you want to look at it. It's 200,000 points technically, 100,000 from Amex, 100,000 for Ultimate Rewards points from Chase, and 75,000 miles for United. So if you get creative, if you find yourself like in a bit of a pinch to try to finish off the spend, like I said, you don't want to spend money just for the sake of spending it to meet a requirement. It doesn't make sense. You don't want to put yourself in that hole. But if you have other spend that's out there that you make monthly, for instance, onto my Amex, before I put the big spend on it, I put my cable bill. I put my light bill, which is $350. And I put my car insurance for 3 cars. It's like $279. So if you think about it, your regular spend that you have, you may not even realize it, but move them over. And I know it's a pain to just shuffle things around and around and around. I've done that this year 17 times. I've opened 17 cards since December 10th, 2022. So it's a lot of juggling. It's a lot of, maneuvering. But, I'm going to put a video up in the next week or so to show you how many points I've gotten this year so far, how I've achieved that. But it's a lot of work to put into that video, but that's coming. But before I even go further into this video, I want to thank the sponsors of today's video, the Fantasy Reaction Show, which is from the guys from Pick a Side Podcast, which I had my nephew here, Andrew Velez, about a month ago. This he does with Joel Dells, and it's basically all about fantasy football. So if you go to the Pick a Side Podcast on YouTube, you'll see their Fantasy Reaction Show. They update it a few times a week. They tell you what they think their picks are going to be, who's going to be a boom, who's going to be a bust. It's a great show to watch. It's a great thing to look at on a weekly basis. It helps you out with your fantasy teams. So I want to thank the guys over there at Pick a Side again for this and for, sponsoring this episode of my show. So if you do me a favor, go on over to Pick a Side, check out their podcast on YouTube. I really appreciate it. And so do the guys over there. Let's move on with the video. So as you can see, $23,000 in 3 months is doable. Okay, it's a lot of work, guys, but you need to just stay consistent and keep track of what you're doing. You also want to make sure that you're meeting the spend requirements in a way that the cards will allow. A lot of people like to buy gift cards and although you might be able to get away with some gift cards here or there, do not just go out and buy gift cards and put it all on the card, because there are cards out there that have done clawbacks. And a clawback is once they give you the points on your card, the company, let's say American Express, can claw them back and take them back because as a part of, let's say, their terms and agreements and everything else, the gift cards were not able to be a part of it. Some people earlier this year were saying that taxes, paying your taxes was not able to work to get these points. That's not true because actually American Express does, even in their mailings and in their offers say that, use them to pay your taxes and stuff like that. So if you get somebody at either Chase or Amex or anybody saying that that's not the truth, no, you are able to use it to spend your taxes and still get those points. So I'm hoping that by giving you these ideas on how to use your regular monthly spend requirements to meet the requirements for spend to get all these points on all these cards, because there's a lot of offers out there. I hope, it just motivates you to kind of put everything in order, go out there and apply, but apply smart. Don't do the craziness that I've done and other people have done. I believe it or not, I did do all that for this channel. I started 2022 going into 23 with 2 credit cards. I'm up to 19 right now. All right. It's insane. But I want to show you, I'm not going to talk to you about stuff that I don't do or don't have, or I don't know how this works. So I'm literally telling you how I broke it down, what I spent it on. This way you can use that information to use it yourself, get those points, get to traveling next year, plan on going out there out of your comfort zone and going to new places by using points and miles and not your dollars that you worked hard for. Okay? So mi gente, like always, I thank you. Hit that like and subscribe. Until next time.